Welcome to Sacredly Selfish, a space where we flip the script on what it means to choose yourself.
I'm Megan, and together with Raju, we're diving into raw, real conversations that explore self love, boundaries, healing, and what happens when women stop abandoning themselves and start living in alignment.
Because being selfish isn't wrong. When it's sacred, it's revolutionary.
We're so glad you're here. Now, let's get selfish.
Hi, guys. Welcome back. Today, we decided we would talk about expectations surrounding special occasions, like birthdays, if there's anniversaries, or something that maybe just that you hold very special, where you feel like you have a lot of, you know, you have a lot of pressure on yourself, but expectations surrounding that as well too. So last week, I celebrated my 39th birthday, and we thought it was a great way to just kind of discuss how I felt during that time, what Megan has felt during this year of celebrating her birthday, and kind of just what society expects you to do during these birthdays and celebrations, and how if you're wanting to be alone, it's almost frowned upon and people question you, and you always feel this need that you need to be doing something super over the top and extravagant.
I agree with everything you're saying. Everybody wants to celebrate you and everyone wants to be around you and make you feel loved. And I think that is the most beautiful thing. And there are also people who have their birthday and they don't have anyone to celebrate them. What you can do to fully mark that occasion and things you can do yourself if you don't have anyone around you that can celebrate you, you can celebrate yourself. I can share like what I did on my birthday that incorporated that, and birthdays where I've sacrificed and when I didn't want to do something and then I did it anyways because everyone else wanted to do it. That was like the theme throughout a lot of my birthdays, and even if there was like an anniversary or whatever it may be. But we can just talk about how to know like what you're actually feeling, what you really want to do. And it takes time. It takes noticing of, okay, do I actually want to spend time or go for a fancy dinner? Or do I want to sit at home and order takeout and like watch a really nice show and like have my place all decorated and you can have like a moment to yourself? Because maybe that's not something you have the luxury of doing in your everyday life. And then maybe plan something on a different day with people to celebrate.
I celebrated my daughter's 4th birthday yesterday, so we had family over and whatnot, and I don't know, there's something about celebrating birthdays, even if you're not drinking or whatever it may be, like, absolutely, we never have any alcohol at our kids' birthdays, but I feel hungover because I'm so exhausted from just running, 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 and then I have early bird children like my
And
mother.
that's another thing, how you're running around. Do you even get to enjoy your daughter's birthday?
No,
Because everything is
no,
like go, 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 go. And I can't imagine
no.
like what that feels like. But then you're trying to do everything. You want everything perfect for your daughter. You want her to have the best time. And I imagine she's probably thinking, why is mama running around? Why isn't she playing with us? Or why is she doing that? And then we just have in
Yeah,
our head, like, oh my God, everything needs to be perfect.
yeah,
And the kids are
yeah.
like, what are you doing? Play with us. Who cares?
But yeah, I have so much to say about that because I did even like this time around, like I feel like for her first obviously was like a big freaking big, you remember that party was
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah.
And then I feel like her second and her third, I was like trying to with the decorations, like I am not like I can think of creative ideas, but doing a balloon arch is definitely not something that, like, is in my fucking playbook. Sorry for
Yeah.
swearing, but it's not. And, I was trying to do it for, like, both my kids' birthdays, and this year I just decided, I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna keep it as simple as possible," because I remember our birthdays growing up as children, they were very simple. Our parents would, like, do the streamers on the ceiling and, like, the balloons on the corners, and, like, it was just so simple. There was no balloon arches, there was no, like, themes or anything to it. I did do a theme still because she requested Barbie, although she changed her mind after I ordered the decorations, but I was like, "Girl, you're stuck with Barbie." I just did balloons and I did 4 balloons on one side, 4 balloons on the other side, a banner, and that was it. And it took me maybe 15 minutes, whereas the other birthdays, I was spending almost 2 hours the night before creating these arches, having to have friends and family come and support me and help me with that. And at the end of it, she's still happy.
We're in a day and age where everything needs to be aesthetically pleasing. Everything needs to be over the top. Everything needs to be so grand and so extra. And you're missing the magic of how we grew up. There was absolutely nothing wrong with the way that we celebrated our birthdays. And everyone's first birthday now you're doing it in a hall. Especially in Indian culture though, its first birthday is, oh my God, so big. But like we're making it that way. We're like perpetuating that story. We're feeding into it. Birthdays for a 1-year-old should not cost like $1,000. Like
They
that is
do, that's the thing. They cost a lot.
insane.
Yeah.
And let's bring it back to basics. What was wrong with the way that we did it? I remember some of my most amazing birthdays when my mom, she would make my cake. She would make me a huge bunny rabbit cake, or she would try to do all these like little special things. She would get my aunt to dress up as Mickey Mouse, and they had the whole costume, and it was just so freaking cool.
Yeah.
And I remember there was like 2 years that she did little obstacles throughout the whole entire house. We'd have to go like an obstacle course. I remember it to this day, and how special and how beautiful that was
Mhm.
that my mom created all of that. Oh, I'm gonna get emotional. And that was just so special and something that I'll remember forever. But now everyone's just like, okay, we got to do it for everybody else.
And you don't enjoy it. Like, you as a parent, you don't enjoy it.
Exactly. And then here, yes, my mom was super busy hosting, of course, but all the adults are having a good time, or they're helping, or, there's a lot of help, I think, fine too. But now it's,
Yeah.
you don't really get that. You don't have
No.
that community like you did back then. I feel like everyone is like, I can do everything on my own always.
Yeah.
And
And
that's no fun.
I know, and it kind of makes me sad because I'm worried that our generation, because we'll schedule times in, like, birthdays from like 12 to 2 o'clock or whatever, and then whoever comes, like, we still have obviously our core group of friends that will, if we need to reach out, we will ask for the support. And that's the thing, we don't always ask for support during this time. But what I really appreciate, like reflecting on Rhea's birthday yesterday, so my parents are in town. We had a couple of my aunts on my in-law side that were like visiting as well too. Everybody cleaned up, helped everything at the end of the night. And I think that part gets missed nowadays when we're having these like grandiose like parties. And my sister actually, when my nephew turned 1, she said to me, she's like, because I was like, "Hey, are you gonna have like a first birthday?" Because it would have been like 3 weeks after Giona's birthday, and she's like, "Are you gonna have?" I'm like, "Are you gonna have a first birthday?" And she's like, "I'm not." She's like, "I'm just gonna do like a cake with us because he's 1. What the heck is he gonna remember? It's just gonna be pictures, and we can take those." She's like, "We can make the video of him cutting the cake. That's a special part of it." She's like, "What's the point of having this extravagant thing?" My sister also is like quite different than me. She doesn't really like to have like the attention. She doesn't like to do all these big things. She doesn't care to have all these people over. So I get it, but like thinking back, she's so right. I think the more you as a parent become comfortable with who you are on the inside, and the more you are able to stop doing things just for this production for others. And I'm not saying everybody, like, please do not get me wrong. I'm not saying everybody does this like production of like all these big extravagant parties for everyone else, because some people do it because they truly enjoy hosting. And if that's your thing, do it, girl. Like, totally encourage you to. But I feel like birthdays are just, the expectation surrounding birthdays is just getting more and more out of hand. Like, when I think back to my 30th, bunch of us went to Vegas. It was this huge party. I think I was one of the first people in our group of friends to turn 30,
Mhm.
and it was like, we're gonna do this big extravagant party. And I'm not even a drinker. Like, I socially will have a glass of wine maybe once every couple of months. Like, it's very, I mean, obviously, like if there's things going on, I may drink like for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, like in a row, which is like 1, 2 glasses of wine max.
Mhm.
So to do a Vegas 30th for me made absolutely no sense. I get memories on Snapchat from that, and I'm like, who is she? She does like she
Yeah, who was that girl?
who was that girl? She was totally like, I was the one that was like pretending I was drinking like vodka and cranberry. It was just cranberry because I needed to hold a drink in my hand. Like, Vegas was not my thing. But then at that time, I just kind of did whatever like my husband thought would be fun and extravagant, and whatever like I felt like maybe he wanted to do for me. I would just be like, the bigger the better. Oh my God, he's doing
Mhm.
this for me. And it would just bring this like rush of like almost like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, it would give me this excitement inside of me and be like, oh my God, he cares about, even though he's my husband, he obviously cares about me. But it's like, he did this and this and this for my birthday and all these big things. And it would make me almost feel more important in a sense, like
It's
back
like an
then.
adrenaline
Yes,
rush. It's like
adrenaline.
an
That's what I was
adrenaline
looking for.
rush.
Yeah, it was this adrenaline rush of just knowing. And even like after he passed away, it's like the first birthday got a lot of love, like a lot of love. It was almost a year after he had passed away, and just so many people calling me, messaging me. But then this is when reality set in. 24, I barely got any calls from anybody because everybody's life moved on while I was still sitting in that grief period, right? Because when
Yeah.
you're living it and the person that has passed away that's been around you, that lived with you, especially when it's your husband or your child, that grief doesn't ever go away. And I'm not saying it went away for others, but people forgot. So I remember last year, I took the day off and I went out with a girlfriend all day. We went and did like pedicures. We just got it was a pretty like chill day, but I still kept myself busy.
Hmm.
And it kind of was like how like he would always create those special days for me on my birthdays. Now I was like, okay, well, maybe there's a friend that will want to do something with me that day and all these, just to keep my mind off. And I know it was for me. I just did not want to think about that day because I was having a harder time thinking about myself getting older versus him not no longer getting older, right? It was harder for me to celebrate my own birthday and be there by myself on my birthday than it was for me to remember him on his birthday. And that came to the fact that I was like, we're supposed to get older together. So I spent it with a friend, and then I remember coming home and I was expecting kind of what happened the year before, where like
Yeah.
my cousins and some close friends would come over with a cake and we would, celebrate with the kids and stuff. It didn't happen. My sister-in-law came, and love her, bless her, she did come and she brought me a cake. But I remember when I realized around like 4 that nobody was going to come, I just went and washed my hair and took a shower. So in the birthday pictures, I'm literally like with wet hair and
Hmm.
in like PJs, which usually I would like, dress myself up. So I
And can I
remember,
just interject here?
yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So, in that moment, you're expecting them to come and do this for you. How internally did you feel that? How did you interpret that for everybody else? You're just like newly to this and you're just like, oh my God, these assholes are not coming. They forgot about me. Like, whatever it may be that you were thinking. Did you feel it in that moment? Did you feel it when you were thinking back on it? Like, how did that process look for you?
So for me, during that period of time, and we'll go into this on a different episode as well too, just grief and like the feelings you feel around grief, because the feelings around my birthday had a lot to do with what I was feeling about myself during that time. So for me, for a long period of time, I felt like a lot of people abandoned me. So on my
Hmm.
birthday, those feelings were surfacing even higher. They were really loud in my head. People don't understand, like, if he was here, he would have done this, this, and this for me. Now I have nobody. That's what I would say. I have no one to, do all these things for me. You would think that if they're related to him or, they're related to me, they would want to make me feel special that day. I was looking for that feeling of feeling special from the outside world, not from myself.
Hmm.
And that's where like I felt very sad. I felt really like again abandoned. I felt like and I also knew like they all loved me at the same time too. And like, they everyone it was a weekday. People have work and all of that. But my expectations were too high. And those expectations my expectations disappointed me, not anybody else. I disappointed myself because I
I don't
created those
think, yeah.
expectations.
And I don't think your expectation was too high. I think your expectation was not like gathered. Like
Mhm.
nobody knew. I think if you had asked like, "Hey, I really want to celebrate my birthday. Can we do this or would you mind coming over?" Like I think nobody in their head was just like outwardly thinking like
Yeah.
also I imagine a lot of people are like, well, maybe she wants to be alone, or maybe she wants to spend it with just her family. Whatever the anyone else is, who knows what they're thinking, right? Take that out of it. But when we step into the power of, oh, asking for what we need.
Yeah.
And I imagine you didn't even really know because you, again, you expected it. And so then when it falls short, you're like crashing. You're like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Nobody showed up for me. This
Yeah.
is ridiculous. And then I remember us having like voice notes about it after because you were telling me how you were feeling. And I remember I asked you, oh, did you ask people to come and they didn't show up? And you're like, no, I didn't ask anybody.
Yeah. So that
I
again,
was like, oh, okay.
yeah, I had the expectations that I created that in the end, I hurt myself with those expectations because I wasn't vocal about it and I didn't really speak exactly on what I want. And how I need that support during a day that I find to be very difficult since his passing.
And I want to say that's not your fault. Your husband was always there to support you and surprise you, and that's something he loved to do. So when that happens, you externally are already thinking like it's going to happen because that's always been something that your nervous system too is expecting. So like that's no shade to you. You're having this expectation that, you know what, I'm expecting this thing X, Y, and Z, and then to be let down by it because this is something that's always been done for you. You guys have been together for so long. And so you're not thinking, oh, I actually need to invite people over, or I actually need to do this, or this is what I want to happen.
Mhm.
Also have grace for yourself. You just didn't know what you didn't
Yeah.
know. And so like to take that time and be like, oh, okay, like I didn't understand it from this perspective because it was already always done for me. He
Yeah.
always made me feel special.
Yeah. And that's where this year differed so much. So I've started to learn that for myself, I need a lot of quiet time and rest. I've been down this journey for 9 months now of trying to just work through whatever, just working through my life in general. I've been down this journey for this whole year. And it was in August when I did the retreat through our coach that really, it was this moment. Like I've had moments of people say awakening where you realize certain things about yourself that you never realized for so many years or your whole life. And August was one of those moments where I realized the last 3 years, because I have children and because I'm working full time, I do not get the space to rest. And I need to start incorporating like quiet time, whether that looks like some holistic self like therapies in sense of like sound baths, meditations that are not at home that can be done outside somewhere. I said to myself I would do one every couple of months because I wasn't going to put that again expectation on myself to do one every month, which may not feel possible, but also trying to find quiet and rest time for myself where the kids are not home because you don't get rest when they're home. And it's like creating that. So when I was going into my birthday this last week, I had a couple of invites come through for lunches. And I knew I was going to spend the day somewhat with myself while my kids were at daycare, like for like 5, 6 hours. But I was deciding, I'm like, oh, I haven't seen this friend in a while. Should I go see her? She's invited me for lunch. And I remember I got that text on a Monday and my birthday was a Wednesday. And I just sat on it. And that's very rare for me. I usually respond right away. And I just sat on it. I said, you know what? I'm going to see how I feel because right now what's calling for me is that I actually just want to be alone that day. My body is screaming for rest, and I want to give my body rest and celebrate my body for being 39, now going into my 40s, like starting, your 40th year kind of thing. I want to really give my body the rest it deserves because, oh my God, heck, she's been through hell and happiness, hell, heaven, and all in the last 3 years, especially 4 years of having children, loss, another child, grief, back to full time work. I'm like, she needs rest. And that's how I'm going to honor her and myself and all of that by just really allowing myself to rest. And that's what I did. The kids went to daycare. I had a call with my coach, Kate, which was beautiful. The reflections I got from her and the reflections I had just about life over the last 9 months. I went and grabbed my free Starbucks drink. I went and sat in my hot tub, which I don't think I've done since I bought that hot tub. I was alone, nobody was home. I sat in the hot tub, I closed my eyes, I put on that morning ritual playlist that you have that I've adapted from you. And at 30 minutes, I almost fell asleep, except my dog kept staring at me. He was like, "What are you doing, mom?" He was,
He's
by
like,
the way,
this isn't normal. Where are the kids?
yeah, by the way, I had 2 dogs. One of my dogs passed away in, April, and now I just have my 1 dog, and they both of them were very massive dogs, and he's bigger than me. He's 150 pounds, 160 pounds, and he was just sitting up staring at me, and I was like, "Okay, see, even he realizes I'm doing something different than the crazy me running around." He's like, "What? She's resting?" So I did
Mhm.
that, and then I gave him lunch, I fed myself, and I had lunch from home. I didn't even do takeout. I watched I tried watching a show. I couldn't. I went and took a 20-minute nap, and then my in-laws came home, and I went and picked up the
And
kids
let's
'cause
talk about that. You have never napped in how long? Like in
yeah.
how many years?
Oh my gosh, so I am not a napper, guys. Any moms listening are gonna be like, "What the heck? I didn't even nap postpartum with my kids." I was forced to lay down once when Giona was born, and that was the only nap I've had in the last 3 years. I don't even think I napped when my husband passed away. I mean, I don't remember a lot. When I was told to go lay in bed, I could not nap. I am not a napper. I like to go to sleep early. So that was huge for me. The fact that I surrendered and I listened to my body, I checked into my body in the beginning of the day and decided this is what I want to do. This is what my body wants. This is what my mind wants. This is what's going to fill my soul. It was so beautiful. And even in the evening when the kids came home, my mother-in-law was like, "Let's go out for dinner." I said, "No, we can do takeout." And I was sitting there and looking at takeout. I said, "No, I'm gonna pour myself a glass of wine to make this romantic moment for myself while I make the spicy rigatoni." I always said I do not want to cook on my birthday. I do not want to be making
Mhm.
everything that I do, like everything I do on a regular basis. I don't want to do that on my birthday. And I did it with so much love, so much content, and so much happiness. And we had dinner together and sat for like an hour and a half, had wine with my father-in-law. It was the most beautiful day, and I highly
Mm.
recommend so many people to do days like that where you really don't keep yourself busy and you just go by the minute and minute by minute. So that's my take on my birthday this year, and I'm excited to see. I'm already having a lot of people saying, "What are you doing for your 40th?" And I'm like, "Oh, maybe I should have
Oh,
a get
yeah.
together, right?" I don't know, to be determined what we decide to do. But maybe next year might look different than this year because maybe I do want to have a big celebration for entering a new decade of life. It's
Or a
still
vacation,
or
or like you
vacation,
never know.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it'll be like
Yeah, like a nice
tailored,
little weekend trip or something.
yeah, and it'll be tailored to who I am next year, and she's gonna be a lot
Yeah.
different than who she is right now.
Exactly. We're all always ever
Yeah,
evolving and always changing. And I think that's so important. We can't look so much into the future. Who knows what the 40-year-old version of you wants to do for your birthday? Maybe it's going to look completely different than 39. When you're open to seeing what's possible, so much more comes back to you. And then you just don't know. And then that's so exciting and different. So I applaud you. And I'm so glad that you were able to show up differently for yourself and really manage your expectations and choosing what you wanted to do, especially with the outpour of people who wanted to go out with you. I know we celebrated the day before your birthday. Like it always doesn't have to be on the day. And I think that's also really important. For my birthday back in April was the first year that I did it by myself. Like I went to work and I came home and I had the most beautiful, epic evening. And it's something that I've always wanted. And I've tried it years before, tried to tell my family I don't want to do anything. And I imagine that's probably the shadow aspect of me too, of like not wanting anyone to celebrate me or always having this stigma around my birthday. And I think the first birthday after my divorce was perfect. It was so beautiful. What I ended up doing is I took myself out to the spa in Vancouver. Took myself out there, spent the whole freaking morning and like early afternoon to really pour into myself. I got a massage, I got a facial, I did all the pools, I did all the things. And then I took myself out for lunch. I like went somewhere downtown. I sat by the water. I ate what I wanted to eat and did all the things, and then afterwards, I ended up meeting up with my family at my parents' house and we did a nice dinner. We just ordered takeout. It was really chill. Usually we go out for dinner, but I was like, nah, I kind of want to order Chinese food. And we sat outside. It was such a beautiful day. It was April, and we all chatted. My brother, sister-in-law, my sister, everybody were there, and it was really nice, and it was so beautiful. And I remember thinking, oh, this was the perfect blend of doing something. And this is the first time I'd ever done anything, especially in the morning time, like alone. I always like would celebrate my birthday with other people and make it a big thing, but this was very intentional of I want to pour into myself. I don't know what it was about that time. Maybe it's like finally choosing myself after everything I had gone through and done. And so for me, that was really huge. And then year after year after that, it was, oh, okay, I don't want to actually do anything. And I want to just spend it alone. And then having a big fight within my family of like, no, we have to go for dinner. You have to do something. And when I went against what I wanted to do on my birthday, something happened. Something negative happened. I remember one time I ended up just leaving and coming back to my house. There was a fight. And there's stupid things when you're going against what you want to do. And people are just wanting to celebrate you, but you're going against yourself, and then you're not in the right frame of mind. And so I remember coming home crying, and then my brother ended up showing up with the cake that my family had gotten, and we did it together, just my brother and I. I blew out candles, and that was that. And then each year after that, it was just not honoring of what I wanted to do. And so then this year, I specifically was only going to spend my birthday by myself. I had gone to my parents' house, I think, a few days before, and my mom made me these really cute creme brulees, you guys. Like, it was the best. And she like gave me a little present. She got me like Blundstones. And then my sister got me this huge basket of like gifts. And she's like, but we're going to open it together when you come back from Europe. I felt super loved and appreciated on that day because everyone was like, are you going to blow out candles? Are you going to have a cake? Like, you can't not do anything for your birthday. And I was going to, of course, blow out candles on my birthday, even if that meant doing it alone, singing myself happy birthday. Like, I was so in this mindset of just because you're quote unquote alone, I'm not alone. I am with myself. I am enjoying this time with myself, something that I absolutely love and adore. I love myself so much. I love doing things for myself. I find that very sacred, aka sacredly selfish, to do that. And so I went to work, had such a beautiful day at work. I was like, yes, it's my birthday. And I was just totally feeling myself and super excited. And I came home. I ordered myself Thai food. I love Thai food. And I didn't want to cook because like that's a part of my routine. And I was like, you know what? I want to have something special. And especially since I was leaving to Europe, I think the next day, I think I was leaving on the 20th or the 21st. And so everything was like already prepared already. My house was like spotless. I put on all these candles. I ordered my food, and I went into this deep journaling reset, and I like pulled a bunch of different cards. So much inspiration and creativity came out through me, and I just wrote pages and pages of how I want my next year to look, what my intentions are, like really feeding my soul, things that like really hold a lot of space for me. And yes, I do these rituals and daily practices, but there are some days when you just really want to set the intention. You really get into it deeper. And so I spent an hour doing that. Then my food came. I watched Ransom Canyon had just come out. And so I like put that on. I watched like a couple episodes, and I don't usually watch TV. I think that's like important to highlight too. I'm usually reading or just like hanging out, chilling like by myself, like in quiet. And to like have a show that was coming out that I like actually wanted to watch, I was like, okay, this is fun. So I watched a couple of those episodes. I had this really expensive bottle of wine. And for me, every year for like the last 5 years, I was like, I'm going to open this bottle of wine for my birthday. And did I ever do it? No, I always forgot, or I left it at home. I wanted to bring it to my parents. So like my dad, my brother, all of us could have some. And it never happened. It never ever happened. And I think it was because I was meant to have it this year on my 35th birthday. And I cracked it, and I didn't even care because I'm like, oh, I'm probably not even going to be able to finish this wine. And that's also okay to not finish, even if it's an expensive bottle of wine. Sometimes we misinterpret and think like, oh my God, this is so expensive. How can I just like let it go to waste? But then you're overindulging on yourself and then you don't feel good. I think it's really important to be mindful. If you just want a little bit, that's okay. If you want to finish the whole bottle, to each their own, right? That's up to you. However it makes you feel, go for it. And so I opened up this bottle of wine right when I got home so I could like aerate it. I wanted it to be really special and I romanticized all of it. I had 2 glasses of wine and I was like, okay, that's okay. I don't have to finish this bottle. I'll just recork it and leave it and we'll see what happens when I come back. I was like leaving like 3.5 weeks or something. And I was like, if it's good when I come back, maybe I'll have a glass. I don't know. And if it's bad, I'm just going to check it. Ready for my creme brulee. My mom's like told me the preparation on how to like put it all together and do it. And I literally put a candle in it. I recorded myself doing it too, singing myself happy birthday. I'm pretty sure I sent it to Raju too. And I said, look how special my day was.
Yeah, I got
and
it.
That's the thing. I had all these people who wanted to celebrate me and do all those things and love them. And we did our own thing, obviously separately and everything. But that day was just for me. It's my birthday. And I really wanted to do something intentional and I did. I can't even describe to you how amazing I felt during that, just having that. And especially in the back of my mind, every year I wanted to do it. And then to finally have that moment and the realization that I'm never alone. I'm never alone. I am not by myself. And when you come to that moment, because there's so many times growing up, I always thought I'm with all these people and I'm with my family and I'm with all my friends and I'm so alone. And I'm not anymore. And it's because I never got into alignment with who I am and really truly honoring the things that bring me joy. And I think when that shifted and that happened this year, it was like I totally opened up in a different way. And I've been telling this to Raju for so long that like I don't feel alone. So when she was explaining to me about how she felt abandoned, I can understand it from the past version of me. And like just as she's stepping into this new version of herself, she's now going through the layers and understanding, oh, I'm actually not alone. I'm not abandoned. I'm abandoning myself. Like I was abandoning myself for so many years. And so I think it's just you take these little mini steps and you're doing, sometimes you say yes when it's a yes, and sometimes you say yes when it's a no. And it's just more information for you. And there's nothing wrong or bad about either decision that you're making. It's just in the moment. And the more you take different aligned action and different steps towards where you want to go. I always think before I'm going to make a choice, would my higher self do this? Would my higher self have like a whole box of pizza, or would my higher self have maybe one slice of pizza and like a side salad? You can start off small with, what do I want to eat today? How do I want to feel today? And then just like taking those steps. Oh, I think that's really beautiful. Is like in the morning, setting that tension. How do I want to feel today? I want to feel X, Y, and Z. And then what steps can you take in that day to make that happen? That's what I did for my birthday this year. And maybe in next year, who knows? Again, I'm going to probably be off to Europe. That's just like a constant April thing for like the last, 2 years, 3 years. I've been to like Europe. I don't know how many times, like 3 or 4 times in the last like 3 years.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay. And that's something that I never expected to happen too. Making different choices. I did my very first solo trip in September of 2023. And that was massive for me. That opened up so many doors to now, oh, I'm going to go here. I'm going to go to Kenya. I'm going to do this. Yeah, whatever I want. Obviously, it sounds easy now, but in the moment, I'm like, oh my God, can I afford that? All this noise would come into my head. And so, yes, I'm sitting here now saying, oh, yes, I can take that aligned action. I can do this. It's because now my mind has shifted, because the more that I am supporting myself, the more that when I make a choice, I see the outcome of it is actually supporting me, then it's easier to make those steps. So in the beginning, it's going to be hard. You're probably sitting here, oh, must be nice. I know I used to be that person when someone would go off or do something, or if they're going to go celebrate their birthday or an anniversary, oh, must be nice. That was always my thing. I was so jealous of everyone else of like, oh, well, it must be nice that they get to do that, or it must be nice that their husband is celebrating them, or or anything to that matter. But the more that you shift, and that's okay. Like, I have grace for that person that I used to be. Nobody's perfect. We all have. Sometimes those thoughts come through, and that's okay. So, yeah. Reggie, do you have
Yeah.
anything to add?
Yeah, circling back to birthdays and special anniversaries is just that reminder of really checking in with yourself of what you're wanting that day or around that week. And if it does align with you and you do want to be surrounded by friends and family, speaking up and saying that, or making the plans to have that big celebration. But also, if you want to be alone, that's okay too. Like, as you were, Megan, talking about just like really having so much love for yourself, I've gotten to that point over the last few months where, like, when you were saying that, I just wanted to hug myself because I know where and how I felt even just a year ago versus now this year, and how much like I can hold myself and I can love myself and I can be with myself without having to have external factors making that day special for me. So I
Mhm.
hope with this episode you guys are able to reflect on who you are and how you celebrate special occasions and what expectations you've been expecting for others and where you have felt maybe let down from others because that's what you are feeling even though they're not really letting you down. Like I said, you're letting yourself down by having these expectations and not voicing them. It's different if you voiced them and people didn't follow through. Like, I understand that can be different. If it is that you want to be alone, I celebrate you. I think that is the best birthday. If you can be alone with yourself and do things that you as an individual wants to do, celebrating you big time.
If you are the type of person who really likes to get everyone together and celebrate, go to a fancy dinner, or maybe have 2 or 3 friends who you absolutely adore and you want to go celebrate and have this small intimate moment, that is also perfectly okay and beautiful because that's something that you want to do. So really take the time and clarity, because how you may feel a week before your birthday and maybe the feelings surrounding your birthday or special occasion, anniversary, just coming into it with intention and really sitting down and, okay, how do I want to feel that day? How do I want to celebrate myself? Because there's times when you're thinking, oh, I want to do this. And then the day comes and you're like, oh shit, I actually don't want to go for dinner. Or, oh shit, I actually do want to go for dinner. And then you call up those people and be like, hey, I know this is super last minute. Would you be able to come celebrate me for my birthday and we'll go for dinner, and see what they say and see how they show up? It is also taking into consideration, okay, if I do put this invitation out and people do say no, okay, that doesn't mean anything about me. That means, okay, maybe it was last minute and maybe some people can't make it, but there might be that one person, and that's who you're supposed to spend the day with. That was who you were meant to be with. So I think that's really, really important. And I just think celebrating yourself always, every day, doesn't have to be a birthday. We are who we are, and we are learning and growing every day. And it's a practice. It's a practice, and we keep doing it and we keep showing up, and every day can be a new day and a new choice. So celebrating all of you, and we love you all, and thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a beautiful day.
Thanks for tuning in to Sacredly Selfish. Stay connected with us on Instagram and TikTok at Sacredly Selfish. And if this episode spoke to you, be sure to follow, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs the reminder that choosing yourself is sacred, not selfish.